It's probably better, right? Okay.
Make sure you give them a good side. You have to get that camera.
Ranesses, R-A-N-E-S-E-S. Yeah.
Pierre Watts, P-I-E-R-R-E-W-A-T-T.
And the question I asked before we started, how long have you been a resident of the apartment?
3 years.
Just a little over a year.
Over a year. So not soon after you moved, you got the notice. Everybody know you picked up.
I didn't even have to be there. When I was looking for apartments last April, I still had to look where I was moving from. The management company, I feel, on behalf of that landlord, purposely withheld the fact that this building was going to be demolished in September, after September of this year.
So you were not aware that was happening?
No. And so it's very disheartening to hear that they would do that to people, especially to elderly people. You know, my husband's very sick right now. Otherwise, he'd be here screaming his head off probably. But I have to be our advocate because there's nobody else to advocate. And I purposely, when we were displaced last year from a individual condo that was owned by a family that's from here, but the guy was working in California, and they asked us to move. They gave us plenty of time. He just was retiring now and wanted to come back and take his condo unit back. So, I had just begun my search for an apartment. So, to have been kept this information kept from me, and apparently now finding out in the past couple months that all the people that have lived there already, and some, for years, were never even told any of this was going to happen when they went in to renew their leases. So, there's got to be something that we could try to do. That's why we came to the city council members for help. Because it's going to happen. If it happens here in Moku, and they even ignore the neighborhood boards that are in the 3 areas around, they already put in their comments that they didn't want this 43-story monstrosity. They ignored them and voted it through anyway, and we had no idea, absolutely none, that there was even any kind of a public meeting or whatever. They claimed they had one, but I never saw it on Channel 2 News. A lot of us, especially older people, rely more on the TV than on social media. I want it to be out on the news that what they're doing to these neighborhoods, it's going to get worse and worse. And for the future generations, it's bad enough for us old people now that we're stuck in this situation. And we need definite, secure help to get moved out of there. I don't mind moving from there now that I've been told, but I need guarantees, and the city council members have got to convince these developers that they have to move us to other properties. I don't care. Even though I'm not thrilled with Cirrus Management Assets as a property manager, I'll move into their other properties. They need to give us proper treatment. Otherwise, we're in serious trouble. So, that's why I was here last month, and I'll continue to be here. And I'm going to continue to be here even after I move to Kapiolani Village. I might be a little bit late to the game, but I'm so appalled. I'm just so appalled. And there's definitely no aloha for the kapuna. I mean, to not have told us that, they could have made up any excuse in the books why we didn't qualify to rent the apartment, right? without having to, if they have this so-called, they said that somebody, the developer guy said there was a gag order they had on not saying anything about the project. I don't know who told them they had a gag order, but, you know, he said that at the neighborhood board meeting. And, you know, I mean, they could have said anything just to, you know, for us, especially because I said, I did, you know, at our age, with our health situation, you know, we're looking for a place we can stay. And you know, we understood we needed to leave where we were, but we were in that building for 21 years. You know, and we're good tenants, but we only live on fixed income, Social Security. There's no chance for us to go out and get another job. You know, our neighbors are younger; they can afford to have, you know, which they shouldn't have to have 2 or 3 jobs. And they, you know, for them to just relate back.
Let me kind of bring up here. I spoke with council members. How are you personally being affected by this?
Well, I'm being affected because the price of housing is going up since the pandemic, right? I think a lot of residents have went back to their Airbnbs, and now the affordable housing market has shrunk. And so now you're going to put 130 people out there to try to find affordable housing. And also, I like the neighborhood I was in, right? And so I would love to stay in the neighborhood that I was in, but that may not be possible.
You know, they're saying that this is going to develop more housing for working poors. Would you be able to afford what they're proposing?
No, I cannot afford what they're proposing. That's the sham. That's the whole sham. Is that they're toting this out as affordable housing, and you got a 1-bedroom for $380,000. I mean, who can afford that? You know, you got to make $40, $35 an hour just to even be considered. So, no, they toting this out as affordable housing. They should be able to make as much money as they want to make, the developers, but they should not be able to tote this out as affordable housing and try to sham the people into thinking that it's affordable. That's what they did to us, right? When we got the notice, they didn't give everybody the notice, right? Because she didn't get the notice. I got the notice on my door saying in September, saying that, hey, if they go to this place, it's going to be torn down and they're going to build affordable housing. So you think, okay, they're going to build affordable housing, so you don't say anything. Building and you like, listing of properties, right? That's available. They should be facilitating people getting into to pay the $45 processing fee every time you apply for an apartment, and knowing that's just like a money grab, right?
So it's coming out of your pocket to apply, it's coming out of your
to move everything. We got
there is no
right. They just giving you a list. They're giving you a list, and it's up to you to follow through on that. Well, they can facilitate it. They got properties. They know people. Why don't they facilitate us getting housing, getting into a place? But some people can't afford it right now.
Is there a limit to how much power you can shake? I guess it's like having
really got to change it. They keep talking about the state. They keep talking about the state. This is the state. This and the state that. We are the state. And the people don't want it. These resolutions that you have that don't work, you know, fix them. Fix them. They're going to try to ask us what the problem is. We know what the problem is. That the government's going to have to subsidize this. The government's going to have to subsidize this housing. That's what they're going to have to go to the developer and say, you work for us. We want you to build this place. And it's going to be affordable. And that's the only way it's going to be affordable because they trying to make as much money as they can make. And nothing wrong with that. Just don't put affordable.
Sorry. In a certain way, you find some consistency, you find some
We can walk slowly. I'll let you see.
Did you want to do any interviews with this?
Maybe not. Is this the end of the neighborhood board? The city council? Are they going back in?
I don't know if we're doing it.
But they're going back in. The city council.
This is just a lunch.
You came with me, we were together. My job. Sure.
Hey, I'm Peter.
Do whatever they want to do. Thank you. Thank you.
Once we get started,
Cheeky about it. The attitude.
I'm sorry, after my name, what you asked for? Your title. I'm Peter. Give it just spelling of both.
It was good. My name is Nikhil.
Don't try to hide behind the state. It's real to the state.
No, literally. Why would we even displace you have to have your major way of development.
You gotta
Tell them.
We're telling the city council that they are not doing their job. When they approve these projects and they allow 130 residents to be put out on the street and fend for housing to find it in the current market, they're causing the housing crisis. They need to guarantee these tenants housing, and they have the power to do it. By them pretending that they don't, they're taking away the fact that they have approved this project. They have seen it through, and they have not talked to the community or seen the consequences. These are the consequences. They need to address it and house all these tenants.
You would be here, what are you trying to show and support, and what are you supporting?
We're supporting basically tenants' power as it relates to decision making that is in relation to housing. So we see that Kobayashi Group and other developers have an influence with City Council, that they're at the table. We've also seen that neighborhood boards and other residents who are being impacted, their voices have been ignored. And then City Council basically wants to move on from the issue and have no one talk about it anymore when people are still being displaced, when the neighborhood is becoming more unaffordable. When putting big investments into properties that are going to be for folks who are above the average income in the area, it fuels gentrification. There's all these community implications that they don't want to address, they don't want to face, and so being here, even though they say that this is passed and this is a done deal, we're telling them this is our lives, like this is our reality, and we're not going away, and you have to confront that and you have to face it.
Obviously, there's that development now. So back to the 1538 Kapiolani. What are your thoughts about that development? And obviously, there's affordable housing bringing into that, I think about 100 units. But when you see that, these values, I guess, what's your takeaway?
Our takeaway is very simple. They call it affordable housing, and then they use this structure called AMI. But anyone who looks at the price of these units, and this will be a majority of people watching this, they know it's not affordable. You can go up to anyone and say, is Kakako affordable? Are these new high-rises affordable? And they will all tell you no. You don't need to be a fancy housing expert. You just need common sense. So when they try to push these projects as the solution to the affordable housing crisis, it's wrong. It's part of the problem because those units at the top, they will sell for millions, right? And they will rent for much higher units, and those will influence the rent in the area. If you build housing that is really expensive, everyone else is going to rent it out for more expensive, and that puts pressure on every single person on this island. It doesn't matter if it's Honolulu, it doesn't matter if it's Windward Side, it doesn't matter if it's West Side. When they build condos in Ahupua on Kapiolani, everyone's rent goes up, and everyone's food prices go up, and everything goes up. We were not going to take a hard stance on 1538. We're using 1538 as an opportunity to talk about Iulai Place. Iulai Place is where 130 residents are being evicted. That's our direct, what we want to tie this action to.
By them sending it back to committee, I guess, what does that mean to you all? Does this open the conversation of maybe encouraging the city council to do more with the developers, to get more out of them when it comes to affordable units?
It is an opportunity for further comments from the community, but without a change in the strategic approach from City Council, I don't think that we can expect radically different outcomes.
What they were telling you today, the conversation, and I know they spoke once they took their lunch break. I know a couple of us took time to speak with you all directly. Was that engagement promising to the efforts that you guys are looking forward to?
Insofar as there were no hard commitments for what's going to be done for the tenants of Kapiolani Village, I wouldn't say it's promising. Engagement is positive. We want to engage directly, but ultimately we're here to try and support the tenants and try and make a difference in their lives. So short of that, I would call it success.
If they have the power to pressure the developer to move these tenants to units that the developer owns. The developer has already done this for other tenants in previous projects. If City Council does not do that, then they fail. And that's what we're here to pressure them to do. If they don't do that, then we failed. So we are raising our voices to ask them to do a very specific thing, and they need to do that. They need to house all of these tenants, or else they are contributing to the housing crisis.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the time.
Office for help for relocation, and nothing came. And then I actually saw something on the news that you guys were talking about the Iulai development, this big, development. So we had no idea that that's what our landlord, who turns out to be the developer, we didn't even know that the landlord was the developer, because our rental agreement has a name of a just different little LLC company on there, and it turns out that it's like a shell corporation that is Black Sand Capital and Kobayashi Group. So all these things just started to come to light in the spring, and we kept getting letters and telling us if we didn't sign up for a lease extension till September 30th, we wouldn't be given any kind of relocation help. So I went in May and said, okay, I'm here to sign up until the end of September. And I asked, there was an agency that was a company that was referenced in one of the letters, Hawaii Community Assets. They said we're going to be on site May 30th. And when I asked her, the manager of Cirrus, I asked her, well, is it confirmed for that for next week? And she said, no, nothing is confirmed. So then we heard nothing.
friend of mine, and obviously, a tiny lot of between what do both sides how these buildings what do you have like for actions? Like what are
Well, for us as residents in Kapiolani Village, we were the ones kept in the dark the most, and we feel that they need to relocate. These property management companies got enough properties around the island. They can find, other apartments comparable to what we can maybe afford to get us moved out of there. I mean, personally, at this point in time, I don't mind that I'm going to have to get out of there, but I'm 75, my husband's 82. We already went through a horrendous move last year just to get there. And so physically, it's going to be really hard on us. And so we need somebody to actually physically get us moved and pay for it because, we had to take out a loan last year just to move there. And we thought we were coming to a nice, quiet neighborhood, affordable, where we could stay for a while, and so, I'm not the kind of tenant that, wants to move around from place to place. I was in the other building we were in for 21 years. So, it just is really disheartening. And especially because I don't think I'm the only tenant that's of the elderly age, but, the fact that they would purposely, to me, it's like the intent to not tell the tenants there. They didn't tell any tenants when they went to renew their leases. And, and it's on the records that I found. I went on the permit sites myself and found that these were applied for in 2021. It was way before I went to the apartment to rent. And they just kept this from the general public and people, 130 people that already lived there. It's not right just from a human standpoint. If they would have said to me, this project is scheduled to, be torn down or whatever, then I would have said, okay, thank you for your time and I'll keep looking. It's just, and it's going to happen in other neighborhoods. That's the thing about it, is it really opened my eyes up to, when we don't speak up,